Interfaith Forum of South Africa convenes a three-day conference starting on Monday to chart a solution to what they call a declining state of affairs in South Africa. The conference happens at a time when South Africa is dealing with rolling blackouts, water shortages, crumbling infrastructure, a high rate of unemployment and a high cost of living, among other things. The forum will attempt to come up with bold new plans to save South Africa. For more on this, I am joined by the forum's advocate, Mojanku Gumbi. Thank you so much for your time, advocate. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Great. It's great to have you in studio with us. Maybe just speak to us about what this conference is looking at highlighting from the onset, given the many challenges that we face in this country. I mean, that was just a few of the issues that we are facing in South Africa.
Well, let me first of all say that I'm not a member of the Interfaith Forum.
Okay.
I have been asked by the Interfaith Forum to assist them with the conference.
Okay.
And I think what attracted me to this conference is that it is solutions driven. So the interfaith community is saying there are problems in the country, but they are just not lamenting the problems. They are saying, what do we do to resolve them? So there will be an alternative economic plan that is presented. There will be an alternative moral plan that is meant to address issues of corruption and you know, just the depravity that we find in society. There will be solutions on issues of, you know, what do we do with this crumbling infrastructure? What do you do? There will be solutions on what do we do with the budget? How do we budget for a South Africa? Because in many ways our budget reflects what used to be in the past. And I say it as someone who was there at the beginning, that I take the blame partly of just stepping into a budgeting process that just takes over from where the National Party stopped, rather than design a new budget that addresses what South Africa truly is.
And addresses the issues of today. I mean, many would say that we've lost our moral compass as a country. I mean, if you look at what's happening with gender-based violence, if you look at what's happening in schools, children are now taking their own lives. They're becoming a lot more violent and having these emotional outbursts. And that speaks to serious societal issues and issues that are experienced at home and in communities. Is this, of course, something that you will be addressing and looking into? Because at the end of the day, it starts with each individual and what's inside of us that's projected and what we're experiencing in the country, isn't it?
The Interfaith Forum wouldn't be an interfaith forum if they didn't focus on those issues of the breakdown of the family, of the breakdown of society, of the immorality that we find, some of those that you list, of the issue of teenage pregnancies that have gone out of the roof, you know, violence against women, of gang violence, where every day, you know, you go to Khayelitsha, people are just mowed down. So I really am supportive of them, and I'm thankful that they have taken this step, because if not them, who else can convene all of South Africa to address these problems? Now, it is true that it has to start with us. You are absolutely right. But also there's a role for other institutions in society. You know, societies are not built just on the basis of individual action. There are other players. The government has a role to play. Churches have a role to play. You know, the business community has a role to play. The sporting federations have a role to play. The professional association. So we have to find a way where we bring everybody together to work on workable solutions. I see there's a lot of solutions, you know, government is meeting on the side with business and all of that, but you know, there are people missing at that table. And
Who's
you can't
missing?
find,
Who would you say
labor is missing, the community. I mean, the government has got not government, but agreed on NEDLEC. There's a forum where at least the major part of society is represented, labor is represented, the communities are represented. Now, if you go into a bilateral only with business, and this is not the first time business has promised things. I was in government. I know they have promised in the past. There was a budget they put aside. They showed how they were going to create jobs, and each one made a commitment. Where are we right now? Nowhere. So you really have to make sure that you don't take decisions that addresses just two constituencies. It has to be decisions that address the whole of South Africa. And the whole of South Africa must be at the table.
Certainly, and I always say, you know, having covered some really intense and traumatic stories, it's almost like we've lost our humanity. It's like we've lost that humanness about us. Everybody is just, you know, trying to stay in survival mode, but there's a huge element of greed and corruption that is really setting this country back. Will you be looking at things like that, and hopefully government will be part of that conversation?
Well, absolutely. The issue of greed, Heidi, it's so critical to look at. I mean, when you look at it, it's almost like our DNA as a nation has changed. You know, 94 held such promise, and there was so much hope. And then all of a sudden, we've just been going down and down and down. Right now, I mean, I walk into a Home Affairs office, and somebody tried to get a bribe out of me, for getting a death certificate. So I say to that Home Affairs official, do you know that I was part of the team that drafted the laws that made this first death certificate free, and you are trying to get me to pay for it? But you walk anywhere, people think you are mad if you don't want to pay. So that's the thing. Our DNA as a nation is changing, and we really need to arrest that. And it is up to everybody to say this is not the country that we want, and this is what the religious leaders are saying, and we really are fully behind them.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, the story you just told me now, I had the UIF commissioner on yesterday, and somebody bribed the UIF commissioner.
Yes.
They had no idea who he was, and he paid the 400 Rand to see where it was going to take him. It's actually heartbreaking. You just can't believe the
at
states.
all levels. You know, the rate of corruption at all levels. And you know, if you don't have people leading the fight, they say something, but they do something different. You know, our leaders say something, do something totally different. You're not going to arrest it unless us, the people, stand up. And who else but the religious leaders, as I say, the faith leaders, to lead us. Because it's about, as you say, it's about the breakdown of the person.
Yeah,
we really
it's that humanness. It's like we've lost it. I've run out of time, but I just quickly want to ask you about this 3-day conference, where it's going to take place and who is going to be participating.
The conference is taking place at Birchwood tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We will be led by the Interfaith community, but we have people, we have the Kenyan National Security Advisor, we've got the President's National Security Advisor also addressing us, just to talk about what makes a state, you know, in terms of national security and all of that. We've got very great inputs on an alternative economy from Dr. Ntabise Muleko, from people like Michael Sachs, Dr. Padilo Hotla. So we really are looking at solutions, and I think that's what attracted us to support this initiative.
Certainly. I think the time for talking is over. We need solutions. Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you very much for
having me. And good luck
me.
for your conference. I hope that we get the solutions to take South Africa forward. That was Advocate Mojanku Gumbi from the Interfaith Forum of South Africa.